Good morning. It's a moo moo morning. I feel like I need a theme song. Anybody want to write a theme song? Someone that I'm in a blogging group with, and the really loud bird is singing to you. Today, even though it's February, it's like 70 degrees outside in Durham, North Carolina. You can't see so well because it's so sunny. It feels like it's April. It's very interesting. So what we're going to make today is I'm going to make a chocolate hazelnut mocha. So if you went to the coffee shop, you would be getting espresso, your choice of non-dairy milk, and some hazelnut syrup. We're turning that all on its head. So we're going to date sweeten it. We're going to make the milk with hazelnuts. We're going to put some cacao powder. I know this is a cocoa container, but I put my cacao powder in there, Scout's honor, and some cold brew coffee. So if you make drip coffee at home, if you have an espresso machine and make your own espresso, you could use that as well. I like using cold brew coffee. It's less acidic. It's ridiculously easy to make, and I make enough for a week at a time. I'm using my Arc Mira again, the blue one that I've told you about and you've seen. One of the things I like about it over some of the other small milk makers right now is it has 6 blades. Can you kind of see that? Yeah, 2 little bitty baby blades on top and 4 at the bottom. And it's a little quieter. Okay, so let's go ahead and I soaked some really hard dates, so I'm gonna put about 2 dates in here. And it doesn't matter if you get a little bit of the date water, it just adds some sweetness. And you can change that to whatever you're gonna do. Now also this date soaking water we could either use in a milk or put in the fridge and put in tea and use it as a lightly sweetening sweet syrup. Next, I've got some oats, and we'll talk about using oats in this hot thing. When we make oat milk, we do not want to make it hot. But this is gonna help thicken it. I'm going to use 2 tablespoons of raw hazelnuts. These don't have any skins on them. That's how I bought them. If yours do, you can rub them together a little bit or just strain it out. It's not that important really. I'm going to put about a tablespoon of oats, and that's really going to help thicken this up, and we'll see that later. Okay. So I want to put a little bit of vanilla in, and I'm just going to probably do a 1/4 teaspoon or a little splash. And that just helps the chocolate flavor come out better. I'm going to start with about 1½ teaspoons of cacao powder. You could use cocoa powder too, for sure. You may need to sweeten a little more if you use cacao powder. We are going to find where I can see there's a min and a max line. And we want to add our ingredients first, right? So I'm going to put some of this coffee in, as much coffee as I want. And then I'm going to fill the rest up with water. And I'm going to fill this up to the max line. Put the lid on securely. And then we'll plug it in. We're going to use that magic cycle that's on most small milk makers, which is warm. On the Nutter and the Arc Mira in particular, it goes for 5 minutes. So you could even, if you didn't want to make coffee or you don't drink coffee, you could put Ticino in here. You could use a decaf black tea. 5 minutes is about right for tea. There are some other small soy milk makers which are coming from China. They don't have the 5-minute setting. Usually it's a 10-minute setting, which is fine for the coffee, but it's too much for a tea. So I'm going to just press this, maybe, there we go, and have it come over to warm 140, and it's going to be 5 minutes. So what's happening now is that this is heating up a little bit. It's going to heat to like, I think 140 degrees, and then it's going to blend and stop. Blend and stop, blend and stop. If you've watched some of the videos, you've seen that. Could you make this in your Vitamix or your Blendtec? Of course you can. It's not going to heat it up for you unless you go long enough. So you could either add warm coffee in with the hazelnuts and all that and blend it, and that would work fine. If you wanted to make this maybe like for your whole family or for a brunch in a larger milk maker like the Miomat, you could do that too. And I would do that on the Miomat raw milk setting, which is not room temperature. It actually heats it up some, and it goes for about 10 minutes. Okay, let's take the cord out and let's take a look at what goodness we've got. Ooh, look how frothy that is. I'm pretty excited about that. So I'm gonna do my little strainer in here. We're just gonna pour some through. You could also taste it first and see if it's sweet enough for you, or if you want to add a little more cocoa, anything like that. And so when we use these fine mesh strainers, we just take a spatula and move it around, basically removing the debris around the bottom, and that lets the liquid come through. There's going to be more sediment because hazelnuts are a pretty hard nut, and we didn't soak them. See how much comes out as I'm moving it. And so this is a much healthier drink than if you got a hazelnut mocha at the coffee shop, because our flavor of the hazelnuts is coming from actual hazelnuts. This is really good, you guys. Hazelnut does have a little bit of a bitter flavor to it. So for you, you may choose to add a little more sweetener. Also, if you're using cacao powder on top of that, but we could always just roll up another date, put a little date syrup in, and once you make it once or twice, you'll know exactly what you need to do. So have a great morning and enjoy your caffeinated or decaffeinated beverage.